Okay, hello everyone, this is Dio Setro welcoming you to Setro Craft Academy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to prepare this boxers. How to cut and sew Ankara boxer is what I'm going to be showing you today, and I tell you it's going to be lovely. It's something that you can give to your loved ones, especially this Christmas.
What do you say?
And this is my Christmas gift to you. The first thing is, what are you going to need? The first thing is, what materials are you going to be in need of to do this? You need your band, and you need like 1 yard of fabric. You can see the simple Ankara fabric I just decided to make use of. You just need like 1 yard. You need your tape rule and your scissors, your ruler, and your tailor's chalk. So let's get started. To start with, you don't need anybody to carry megaphone to tell you that what you need to work on is on the wrong side of your fabric. It's the reverse side of your fabric that you do all your manipulations, all your cutting, all your markings are done on the reverse side of your fabric. Okay, the following are the measurement parameters that are needed in constructing your simple Ankara boxer. 1 is your waist measurement. 2nd is your lap measurement. 3rd is the length of the boxer. Then finally is this other aspect that determines how good you are in trouser construction, which is what? The flap. When you talk of the flap, you are talking about this part of the body, of my guy's body. This is where the degree of freedom for movement comes up. It shows how easy it is for your customer or for yourself to put up your pants and to jump, walk the stairs and what have you. So without wasting time today, the following are the measurement parameters I'm going to be using. 1, the waist I'm going to be using is waist 33. 2, the lap I'm going to be using is lap 28. In short, I'm going to use lap 27. I'm going to use lap 27, waist 33, and the boxer length I'm going to be using length 16. But let me tell you, when it's time to cut out, you discover that you are not going to cut exactly on length 16. Why? Because you are supposed to have your turn up of 2 inches at the top, then the turn up below like ½ inch or 1 inch, depending on how much you can go. So usually standard, I will just add 3 inches to the exact length of the boxer that I want to make. Okay, so without taking, that means that my boxer length is going to be 19 instead of the original 16. So let's get started. Okay, now you remember that whenever you are cutting your boxers, you should be cutting on fold, and if that be the case, the determinant of that your fold is the extent of the largest measurement, either the laps or what determines the extent of your fold is your lap. And since we are working with lap, lap 27. Since we are working with lap 27, all you just need to do is to say 27 divided by 2. What will that give us? 27 divided by 2 will give us 13.5. And if 27 divided by 2 will give us 13.5, that means the most that we can have as a fold there should not be more than 15. So 27 divided by 2 is 13.5. This is 13.5. So I can just create some little degree of freedom here. So I think this fold, I'm okay with this fold. And you know the length we are working with, the trouser length. Okay, I want you to see what I'm showing here. The trouser length we are working with is supposed to be 16, but because of the folding at the base and at the top, because of the folding at the base, because of the folding at the base and at the top, we are going to turn in like 2 inches up at the upper part of the boxer, and we are going to utilize like 1 inch below. So we are going to add 3 inches to 16, so that will give us 19. So this is just what we are going to work with. Please note this. Immediately you are given the waist size of any particular short knicker or pant or trouser, you should have at the back of your mind the corresponding flap. Okay, in our school we already taught on how to get each of these flap. So if I'm working with waist 33, the corresponding flap for waist 33 is just 13 and a half. It's just 13 and a half. And like so, since it's 13 and a half, it is where you are going to start from. Where you are going to start the construction of your trouser from is that 13 and a half flap determinant factor. Okay, so let me just show you what I'm trying to say. So once you have this, once you have your fold, you know the flap we are working with is 13 and a half, which is covered here. That's fine. So the next thing we need to look at is the waist. Usually I don't usually measure waist and blah 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 like that. So what you just need first and foremost is the flap. What flap is synonymous with waist 33? The flap for waist 33 is 13 and a half. So I'll just come this way and I'll measure 13 and a half. 13 and a half. I will chalk here. I'll chalk those points. I'll move forward a bit. 13 and a half. I'll chalk here, which is equidistant points. So come here, so that when I'm connecting the lines, it becomes easy. You know, easy does it. So you just come and connect your line. So you have your 13 and a half flap here. 13 and a half flap. But you know, the waist of 33 has given us flap 13 and a half. And the lap measurement that we are making use of is 13 and a half. It's just a coincidence. It's not that she just coincides like that always. Because the lap we are looking at is 27. So 27 divided by 2, you have 13 and a half. You will come on exactly this flap line to get your lap. Measure, just look at it. You measure your lap on your flap. You measure your lap on your flap. So you just come here and say 13 and a half. This is 13 and a half for the lap. This is the point where you have your lap. Please take note of this. Immediately you have attained your 13 and a half, which is times 2, making your flap. The next thing you do is to subtract 2.5 inches from your lap measurement. 2.5 inches, when subtracted from 13 and a half, what you are going to have at the end of the day is 11. So you trace the 11 upward like so. You trace it upward like so. So I'll just come here. I'll measure 11. I'll mark, just for me to have my equidistant point. 11. I'll mark just like that. Then I'll trace this upward. once I have this traced upward, this region is 11. From here to here is 13.5. By the time I subtract 2.5 inches from it, it gives me the tangential point with which I'm going to be able to draw my C curve, which is the curve for my flap curve. So the flap curve is constructed like so. You can see that my flap curve is constructed like so. Immediately I have my flap curve this way. The next thing I should be talking of is my what? Is the length of my boxer short. What's the length of the boxer short I'm working with? The length of the boxer short I'm working with is length 19. Is length 19. So I'll just come here, boxer length. I'll move forward also from here. I'll measure length 19. Mark this point. So it's just for us to join the line. You have the line for the length of your boxers. You have the line for the length of your boxers. Immediately you have this. The next thing for you to just do is what? Join those points. Join the flap points to the length of the boxer. And you need to take note of this. What actually determines how much of the connection point between here and your boxer mount is what? Is the lap measurement. What's the lap measurement that we are working with? The lap measurement that we are working with is 13.5 because we are working with 37. So all you just need to come to do here is to measure 13.5. Is to measure 13.5. So making it just a straight cut. So you have your boxer short this way, just straight. But if you are the type that you want the mount of your boxer to be a little bit tilted, then that means you just connect, you just slant it inward, connect from this flap point to this point. But I'm just going to make a straight boxer here. Okay, so if we already have this, the next thing is just for us to cut out and to cut out the front panel. Remember, this is just the front panel. You have your front panel. You have the front panel of your boxer like so. You have the front panel of your boxer like so. So the next thing to do is to use the front panel of your boxer to cut out the back panel. Okay, so the next thing to do, immediately you've gotten your front panel, you need to have your back panel. Immediately you've gotten your front panel, you need to have your back panel. And to get your back panel is as easy as A and B and C. All you just need to do is to place your front panel on another fold of the fabric, and this time on this other fold of the fabric you need to just quietly do something here. Just watch out. You use your front panel you need to use your front panel that is placed on the fabric to cut out the back panel. Please note, the back panel is always larger than the front panel. It is on the back panel that all your trouser allowances are taken care of. So, this is what you just do. Make sure that when you are placing it on another fabric, the extent of allowance you have here should not be less than 3 inches. It can be between, to be on safer side, you can just make sure that the difference between the front and the back before you cut out is at least 3.4 inches or thereabouts. Okay? Now, what you just do is easy. You use this to, you use the front to cut out the back. Just and your back panel this way. Now, open the fold at the back. Now, you need to do this. Immediately you have this done out like so, you now move your front panel forward. You move your front panel forward, just like so. Then the next thing you'll be doing is you get the difference between the front and the back. Between the front and the back, make sure that everything is well aligned. Between the front and the back, before this sharp edge, what you should be having, the difference between the front and the back before this sharp edge should not be less than 2.5. So you just look at it, you measure 2.5. This is more than 2.5. You shift it backward. Let me remove one of the front panel so that it's so. You measure once again 2.5. This is 2.5. The difference between the front and the back here is 2.5. You check 2.5. 2.5. By the time you get to this tip, what you have is 2 3/4. That will show. If it's not up to 2 3/4, you just adjust the placement of your front panel. Just adjust and remeasure. This will give you 2 3/4. Now, immediately you surpass this position where you have your 2 3/4, coming up this way. The distance between this upper part, as in the front panel and the back panel, will be 3 inches. Just have a check. If it's not up to 3 inches, you adjust. Should be 3 inches all the way, all the way, all the way. This is 3 inches, should be 3 inches. So once you have that agreement, you cut out the excesses at this tip. Cut out the excesses at the tip here. Because in men's boxers construction, all allowances are made on the back, not the front. So that is why usually you will have the front being smaller than, that's why you usually have the front always smaller than the back. Okay, so with that being done, the next thing for us to do is to join our front panel. To join our front panel together. The next thing to do, this is our front panel, is to join it together. Join your front panel together, and you join your back panel together. So at this point in time, all we are just going to do is to join the front panel together and the back panel together. What you are just going to do is to place the right side facing each other this way, the right side of the back panel of your boxer facing each other this way, and the front panel of your boxer, the right side facing each other this way. So what's the next thing for us to do? The next thing for us to do at this point is to go to our sewing machine and stitch the back panel together from here, running from here to this flap curve to this point. We terminate the sewing here. Then we repeat the same for the front panel, running from here through this curve to this point, and you sew on just, you can sew on 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch, depending on how much of allowance you usually utilize. So on 1/4 of an inch, you just sew this way. So let's do that. Please note something, that for those of us that are new into fashion, you can just do this. You can just mark it out like so. Everything you are going to do, you can just use your tailor's chalk to carve out how much of what you want to sew, so that it will guide you on ensuring that you build a nice sewing pattern, a straight sewing pattern. Once you've sewn this is what you have for your back panel of the boxer short. This is what you are going to have. You repeat the same for the front panel of your boxer short. Okay, at this point in time, since we've already joined the front panel together, the front panel of our boxer short this way, and the back panel of our boxer shorts this way. The next thing for us to do is to join the front and the back panel together on the flap cup point. What do I mean by that? All you just need to do is like so. You have the front panel this way. You have the back panel this way. You bring the crouch part like so. You are going to hold the crouch part together this way, and you are going to sew on half an inch from this end to this end. You are going to join them together at the center at this point this way. From here you are going to join them together from here to here this way on half an inch. So just like we did in the last sewing, what you might just need is to help yourself with proper marking. Half an inch is just like so. So you have your half an inch, trace it down this way. But at this point, there is always this is always noted as a pressure point in men's trouser construction or knicker construction. So you need to double stitch this part, and you continue your sewing just like so. So let's do that on the sewing machine. So you just sew on the side, right hand side and left hand side of your boxer. With that, you achieve almost 70% of your boxer construction and sewing. So once you have this, I would like to go to the table to show you this, but let's see how we can manage the space here. Once you have this, the next thing for us to do is, by the time you turn it in out, this is what you're going to have. Your boxer is already in the making. And please do note that we are still going to hem around the boxer mouth like so, and we're also going to take in like 2 inches at the base of the boxer, where we are going to attach our elastic band that will make it more grippy. Because like this is still not looking like a boxer, but by the time you have your elastic band in between, it makes it more grippy. Okay, so what you're actually going to do now is to fold the edge of this your trouser waist, the waistline of your boxer rather. You are going to fold it in by like quarter inch. I'm going to fold it in like quarter inch, and you are going to place your iron on this. This is what we call like hedge hemming. I'm going to place your iron on this quarter inch. We'll do that round for the base of the trouser of the boxer. Then after doing that, we'll now fold in by 2 inches or 1/3. You know, the provision we made for this top was 2 inches, and we folded in like a quarter. So the remaining to be folded in will be 1/3. So what you do is just to iron. Let me quickly go to iron this edge now. And in the same vein, for the boxer mouth, I'm going to hem in by 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch, depending on how much of hemming I want. But if I hem at 1/4 inch, what I'll now do after hemming at 1/4 inch, after folding having the first layer at 1/4 inch, I'll now fold again at 3/4 inch, so that I can make use of my 1 inch allowance. You remember I added 3 inches altogether to the former measurement. So with that, you have your boxer perfectly sewn. So let's just go to the ironing table and get that done with. Okay, so just like I said on the sewing table, what you just need to do is to fold in 1/4 inch like so. Then you now bend inward 1/3 to make up the 2 inches allowance we have provided for the turn up at the base of our boxer here. This is where our what's it called? This is where our elastic band is going to be placed inside of this part. Okay, and by the time the elastic band is placed, it's going to have this shrink pattern. Then the base here is also, we did the hem line and we turn it in this way. And what we are just going to do now is to sew and affix our rubber band. Okay, so what we'll just do now is to sew around the band part, but we are quickly going to do this. We are going to affix our pin here, marking the end point, and here marking the start point. So we are going to leave the space. We are going to leave the space between here and here unsewn till when we are through with the fixing in of the elastic. So we'll start our sewing from right after this needle here. So at this point, we are just going to start our sewing from immediately after this pin that is affixed here. And when sewing, please ensure that your stitch is along the edges. You will just stop right here so that you can pass your elastic band through this part all the way in. Now to do this, you need to measure the elastic band. Like, you remember the waistline we are using, the waist is 33. So you are going to measure 33. You are going to measure 33, and you are going to add 1 inch to 33. That 1 inch is to create joining allowance for the meeting point of the elastic that is going to be sewn together. That the reason for the use of waist 33 on the elastic is because that waist measurement is my tight waist measurement that I've just put into consideration. So now you have fixed your safety pin. You come to this open part and insert. You insert the elastic band, and from there you begin to take it in like so, just like what we started. You have your safety pin coming out at the edge this way. So hola, for this simple task to be very easy, I tell you, you must just make sure that you are using your safety pin. And please remember the fact that I added 1 inch so that I can stitch the mouth of the 2 ends of the elastic together and cut off the excesses. So let's just quickly do that. The 1 inch that I added, I'm going to stitch it out. So you just make sure you backstitch as much as possible. So once you have that in place, you cut off the excesses. Okay, so you allow it going like so. Now you can see what we're talking about. Your boxer is ready. It's ready for use. The only thing remaining is to sew round the edge.